party started. Hey, hey, hey. Woo, woo. Yeah. I'm great.
Okay.
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
So today we're going to be talking about the phases of a breakup and how to get...
kind of our personal tips on how to get through the different phases and kind of what we have learned to do over the years that we've gone through these things.
Alright, step one.
So the first phase of a breakup, we feel like, is like the shock stage where you're very surprised it happened and you just it's not real to you yet.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
So, because of that, we figured phase one is...
Surprise!
You got dumped.
So in this phase, obviously, you sit there and you wonder what happened, what went wrong, what did I not do, what did they not do, why is this happening?
It's all kind of just one big blur at the moment. You're not even really thinking about anything. You're just like, what is happening?
You feel like you're just walking in a fog and a blur, and
Which
you're
is
just very
normal.
confused. And obviously, everybody feels that, especially if you are the one being broke up with. It's not fun. And it's very confusing.
And usually, the shocked phase lasts a little bit, but not too long.
It's not one of the
Because
longer.
it kind of goes right into the second phase, which is
It's your breakup. You can cry if you want to. Obviously, in this stage, it's all about being upset and thinking, oh my god, I lost somebody that I loved, or however you felt about them, and you're just very upset because you don't want to lose that person.
Yeah, and so don't let people tell you like don't cry. Don't like waste your tears because it's better to cry than to hold it all in.
You need to
anyway.
let it
You can't
out.
Bottle everything up. Exactly.
Kind of my philosophy for this stage is kind of feel what you need to feel and then move on. Because if you bottle it up, it's just going to last longer and it's not fun. So just deal with it while you can and just get over it. Step 3, reflect, don't blame, and get back in the game. So in this stage, it's kind of, you sit there and you think about all
when
these.
you're really thinking.
You start thinking about what happened, who you were with, kind of how the breakup went. You think of all the good and bad memories that you both kind of had together, and you're kind of just reflecting on the whole relationship and how, oh, I could have done this and maybe that wouldn't have happened. So in this stage, you kind of just have to hold on to yourself, kind of just give yourself that effort where you're just like, I'm gonna be okay, I just have to get through this.
Yeah.
You just can't blame yourself.
Exactly. Don't blame yourself. It does nothing. Because honestly, you can think about like, oh, I should have done this, but in reality, it's like
If the breakup was meant to happen, it was meant to happen. You couldn't do it.
Change anything
About it. It's gonna happen. So what? It's gonna happen.
And then after you realize, like, when you think about things, it helps you realize, like, okay, there are, like, a lot of flaws within the relationship, so you can see why it would have happened. Then you have to kind of be like, okay, and then just kind of that's when you start moving forward from that point on. After you make that realization and you don't blame yourself, that's when you move on.
Yeah.
So.
You can't sit there and think of all the happy times and think that, oh my god, like, I just want the happy times back. There's obviously going to be good and bad, and obviously the bad got the best of you at the moment, and you kind of just need to realize that, get over it, and kind of see where you should go from there.
And that's when you truly start to realize that things will get better.
Exactly.
It'll be okay.
And after this stage, obviously everybody kind of gets mad either at the person that they broke up with, got broken up by, or whoever you were with. And this stage is something we like to call
Be a hater.
So pretty much when you're in this stage, you kind of just get very mad and you're just like, oh, I hate them. I can't believe they did this to me. They broke my heart.
I can't believe I ever went out with them in the first place. Like,
and you're just very angry, and you're just like, I can't even right now. That's how you
deal
feel
with it.
Exactly.
But that's okay because
It's
anger
natural.
and like getting upset at the other person is way better than still sitting there and crying and thinking about like, how horrible everything is.
Because at least
Even though like it won't last for very long.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're gonna go through all these phases, and you going to get over them eventually, but you obviously have to go through the stage to get through it. But I think at this stage you kind of realize who you are as like an individual, as realizing who you are without the other person, and kind of realizing how they did kind of bring you down, or what the breakup kind of made you realize that was not good about the relationship, and it kind of makes you realize maybe this is for the better, and I hate them for hurting me, and all that kind of stuff. Because when you do kind of channel your energy and emotions into anger at that person, it's more healthy than saying, oh my god, I should have done this, and then a breakup would have never happened. And that's not true, because if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. You can't do anything about it. So when you get angry, just know
it's okay to be angry. It's just another phase. It's okay to be angry. Let yourself be angry. And then don't regret being angry.
No.
When you're done being angry, don't be like, oh, I kind of feel bad about what I said. Like, don't, because it's over. It's done with. It's in the past.
You can't change it. You can't change what was in the past. You can't do anything about it. So after that stage, it's kind of like the acceptance stage, and we like to call that it is what it is. At this stage, you kind of accepted that the breakup did happen. You are hurt or were hurt, depending on how fast you moved on from it. It's kind of, you realize that something did go wrong in the relationship, and somebody, well, one of you obviously ended it, and you kind of just need to accept the fact that yes, it's over for right now. Whether you get back together later or not, you need to just realize it is over, and I have to accept that, and I have to accept the other person's decision.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in this stage, it's kind of just accepting that you don't have that person in your life constantly like you did, I don't know, maybe like a week ago or whatever. And you kind of just have to accept that you are on your own, and you have to become your own person. And which it can be very hard, but at the same time, it's kind of a learning experience, like for yourself.
Which leads right into the next section.
Is do you. At this point, you're kind of realizing, obviously, you are alone, and you may feel lonely, you may not feel lonely, but at this point, you kind of just have to realize, I'm on my own, I'm going to do what I want to do, nobody's here to tell me what to do, so I'm going to do what I want to do.
Exactly. And I guess, in some situations, it takes a really long time for you to get to that place, for you to get to the acceptance, because there's a difference between accepting that you need to move forward, and then actually doing it and, like, being yourself. Because sometimes you think about, like, you're like, okay, it's done, it's whatever, but you're still like, well, now I'm alone, you know, you can't focus all your attention just on that person, and if you're going to be focusing any attention at all, it should be to yourself. Like, it might take a couple months, but eventually you'll realize, like, it won't even faze you until, like, someone's like, oh, hey, look at that person, you're like, oh, hey, like, you forget about the other person completely. So
you kind of just learn who you are on your own. You know, kind of just learn to kind of support yourself through a rough time, because you obviously need to do that, since nobody can really tell you what you want to hear, and when they tell you that, you know it's not true, and you just kind of have to pick yourself up, figure yourself out, and kind of just get through it.
You don't need, like, it's nice to have, like, friends and other people say, like be there for you and help you, like, get through it, but, like, at the same time, you have to yourself pick yourself up, and you can't rely on everybody else. Then you're not going to get anywhere.
Only you can change how you feel.
Exactly.
The final step is something we like to call let it be. At this stage, it's kind of, you've accepted the breakup, you've been upset, you still be upset, obviously, it doesn't just go away very quickly. It's kind of this step where you just figure out, okay, well, the breakup happened. Clearly the breakup was meant to happen. So, at this stage, you're kind of like, but I feel like maybe I still belong with that person. Just know that if something is meant to happen,
it will happen. You can't force things to happen.
The point of the
It's like when you're over it, pretty much. You're over it, and you're like, well, you know what? If they want to come back, then I'll see what happens. You can't, like, otherwise,
you
can't hold on to it.
You have to feel it out. You just kind of have to see. You have to be like, oh, I kind of like being on my own. I kind of like not having this person in my life so much. But if you do miss that person, sometimes you're going to miss that person. If it's constant and they want to come back to you, then do what you think you need to do. But you just kind of have to let things happen the way they're meant to happen.
Yeah.
You can't really force anything.
There's like no rushing things, no forcing anything. And like sometimes you'll find yourself like down the road missing that person, and you're like, well, maybe I wonder what would happen if we were like still together. But then you think it's like you almost don't even miss them as somebody that you loved or were in a relationship with, you just miss their company and something like that, and so you're just kind of like, well, maybe it's not that person, or whatever. Like, maybe it's just because you miss the feeling of their surroundings, or exactly, you just want to be friends so that you still have them in your lives because they meant a lot to you, obviously, and you don't want to let that go, and that's okay to do that. So
Definitely.
So that is it for our
Second
video number 2 on our relationship series. We are going to be putting these out at least one a week because we have a bunch of different ideas. If there are certain topics that you would like us to discuss or want any questions
about
comment below. If not, if you like this video, thumbs up, because we see how many views we get, and then there's no likes, and it's because we're like,
we're depressed about it. So, like it, subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter
and Instagram,
and Instagram, and we will see you next time. Try and cop a feel.